welcome to Archimedic Coach. In this section, we are going to discuss basically about the pathology and a special and important topic, that is hypersensitive reaction. Here we are going to discuss what is hypersensitivity means and what is the hypersensitive reaction it means. It is the excessive response. It is basically the excessive response to an antigenic stimulus. It means the any antigen particle is going to produce the effect on our body, and it is excessively doing their effect on body. It means this antigen which is going to combine with the antibodies on our body, they showing the excess effect in our body, and excessive response of this antigen and antibody complex is called as hypersensitive reaction. Basically, this hypersensitive is basically divided into the four categories, and we are now going to see the type 1, type 2, type 3 and type 4. Nowadays the classification is altered and they are divided into 5, but we discuss here mainly 4: the type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. In the type 1 is basically the type 1 is associated with the antibodies. It means the type 1, type 2, type 3, these all are associated with antibodies. In this type of hypersensitive reaction, the antibodies are participating and they are combining with the antigen. But the type 4 is a special type of hypersensitivity in which no any type of antibodies are participated. It's simple. In which the T cells and the types of T cells are participated. What are the types of T cells we discuss later, but for now we are going to start our topic from the type 1 hypersensitivity. The type 1 hypersensitivity is also called as anaphylactic hypersensitivity or the anaphylactic reaction, and another name is, we can also call it is the immediate effect of the after the combining of antigen to the antibody. They're showing their effect very fast. That's why they're called as immediate or anaphylactic hypersensitivity. That is type 1. Now we are here is the very important is the examples of the hypersensitivity. And what are the different examples of the different types of hypersensitivity we are going to see here. In the first type 1 hypersensitivity, there are the several examples we can see here. The bronchial asthma, next one is hay fever, the allergic dermatitis or atopic dermatitis, next point is allergic rhinitis, and then food allergy and the pollen allergy. These are the specific examples and they are also important, that is bronchial asthma, hay fever, allergic dermatitis, atopic dermatitis, allergic rhinitis. These all are the important. Next, there is some special type of test is done in the type 1 hypersensitivity, is also under the in the MCQ question they are asking about the what is the Cassoni's test is done in which of the following type of hypersensitivity, that is type 1, and Theobald-Schmidt phenomenon in which type of hypersensitivity, type 1, that is we can see PK reaction is done in the type 1 hypersensitivity, and Suzal-Dahl phenomenon is done in the type 1 hypersensitivity. Anaphylaxis reaction is done in type 1 hypersensitivity, and atopy is the basically allergic reaction run in our family, in the familial background. It is transmitted by the genetic way or from the ancestor. That's why they are called as the atopy. And these all are the examples of the type 1 hypersensitivity or the anaphylactic or immediate hypersensitivity. Now we are going to see what are the pathogenesis of the hypersensitivity, how this type 1 hypersensitivity is going to develop in our body. So you can see, suppose that this red one is antigen. This antigen is going to, suppose that here is the antigen, we can suppose that here is the antigen. This antigen is going to bind on our skin. Suppose that here is the skin. On the skin, this antigen Ag is antigen here. This Ag is going to bind on our skin, and after that on the skin there is an antigen presenting cells are present. These antigen presenting cells are presenting the function of the antigens to the T cells basically. So we can see here these antigen presenting cells, when the antigen is combining with antigen presenting cells in the skin or the cell surface of our body, they are going to activate the T cells. Why they are going to activating T cells? Because the antigen presenting cells are going to present the antigens to the T cells. So the T cells are going to activated, and after that these activated T cells are going to activate the T2 cells. T2 cells, that basically there are types of T cells, T helper 1, T helper 2, that is Th2 cells, and these Th2 cells in our body is going to stimulate several things. What is it? We can see here that is interleukin 4 and interleukin 5. Here we can see that Th2 cells are going to activate interleukin 4 and interleukin 5, and this interleukin 5, after the release from the cells and Th2 cells, they are going to recruit the eosinophils in that area, and the amount of eosinophils will be increasing in that area, and this increasement of eosinophils will leads to the binding of these antigens to that region. Then what happened to the another way, we can say the interleukins 4, what they are going to do, these interleukins 4 is going to produce something, and that is antibody 4. Sorry, the antibody E is produced here. We can see the antibody, IgE is produced. IgE antibody is produced by the interleukin 4s. What happened after the production of IgE antibodies? These IgE antibodies is going to bind to the special cell in the we can see IgE antibodies is going to bind the special type of cell. We can see here this special type of cell is named here mast cell. On the mast cell, inside the mast cells, there is a small granules are present, and these granules are containing several type of cytokines, or they contain several type of enzymes. What are they? We are going to see later, but for now you have to understand there is a preformed elements are present inside the mast cells, like the granules. Inside the granules there is a filled with the enzymes, and what are that enzymes we see later. On the mast cells, these antibodies are going to attach. We can see these antibodies are going to attach on the mast cells. Look on it, and they are going to attach and sensitize the mast cells. So the IgE antibodies gets activated, or they are gets produced by the interleukin 4, and they are going to bind on the surface of the mast cells, and they sensitize the mast cells fully. And after the activation or the sensitization of mast cells by the antigen, an antibody reaction is happen for the first time. For the first time, these functions occur in our body. What does it mean? If any person is come in the contact of some allergic substances for the first time, then all the steps will happen. The interleukins are activated, the IgE antibody, and the IgE antibody is going to activate the mast cells, and mast cells are going to activate and sensitizes the antigens. After that, if the patient is having subsequent exposure, it means if the person is come in contact with the same element again, then it's not going to all the process will happen. There is a just polymerization of these mast cells activity will happen. These antibodies are coming and directly bind to the mast cells, and then polymerization will happen. After the polymerization, what the granules are present inside the mast cells. As we see previously, inside the mast cells there is several granules are present. These all granules are going to degranulated, and inside the in the mast cells, these all granules are going to degranulated, and having two phases of the mast cells degradation. Basically, we can see the early phase and later phase. The mast cells degradation or the mast cells degranulation is done in two phases, in early phase or later phase. What happened in early phase? What the granules are present inside the mast cells? What the granules are present inside the mast cells, we can see here. These granules are going to preformed. They are formed previously, and they are formed primarily inside the mast cells. These all granules are going to store histamine inside its granule. Histamine. And histamine is a vasodilator element. You know, the histamine is a vasodilator chemicals. We can see here in the early phase, This degranulation is leads to the histamine will be preformed elements will be released, and they causes vasodilation. The vessels will get dilated, and after the dilation, what are the pores which is present inside the vessels is going to bigger, and the elements are moving outside. It means what the composition inside the blood is moving outside of it. So it is called as increase in the permeability. And next one is bronchospasm inside our bronchi. We can see these are the three stages after the degranulation in the early phase of the mast cells, and this all things in the early phase it happens within the 30 minutes when the person come in contact with that specific particles. So now we are going to see, or the specific allergic substances. Now we are going to see about the late phases of the reaction. It happens about the 2 to 24 hours. It means after the contact, come in the contact after 2 to 24 hours of it, it will happen in our body, and all the mediators is formed later stages. These mediators are not formed preformed mediators. They are forming later stages of the these reactions. What are the chemical substances is formed in the latter phases? That is leukotrienes, cytokines, and chemokines. These all three chemicals are synthesized. These all three chemicals are synthesized in the latter phases of the reaction, and they are going to damage. They are going to damage our epithelial cells. They are going to damage our tissue cells or the tissues. So they are going to damage our epithelial cells or the tissues in this way. So in the type 1 reaction or the type 1 hypersensitivity or the immediate anaphylactic reaction, these all the things are happen, or these are the pathogenesis. And we can also know about it. What are the antibodies here? That is IgE. What are the cytokines here? That is interleukin 4 and interleukin 5. You have to know. And now we are going to some important points about the type 1 hypersensitivity. Look on it. What are the most important cytokines in type 1? All I told you, that is type 4 and type 5 are the two cytokines will be released in the type 1 hypersensitivity. Next one, important cell in type 1 hypersensitivity, that is mast cells and eosinophils are the two types of cells which is activated in the type 1 hypersensitivity. Eosinophils is activated by the interleukins 5, and mast cells after the activation of interleukin 4 they gets activated the IgE antibodies and then gets activate mast cells. Now important antibody which participated in the type 1 hypersensitivity, that is IgE. Next one, earliest mediator is released. What is the earliest mediator? What is the earliest or preformed mediator is released? You know now, that is histamine. It is released from the early phases of the degranulation of mast cells. Next one, this is the important point here. We are going to study about the mast cells in our body, and what is the special dye we are going to use for the study of mast cells. What is the stain? The stain is named as toluidine blue. So it is important points from the type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. Now we are going to discuss type 2 hypersensitivity reaction. In the type 2, they are called as antibody mediated hypersensitivity, or they are also called as cytotoxic hypersensitivity. So type 2 is also called as antibody mediated, or type 2 is also called as cytotoxic. There is some differences in between type 2 and type 3. In the type 2, we can say the antibody is fixed to the cell membrane here, and in the type 3, the antigen and antibodies are moving or circulating inside our body. They are not going to fixed anywhere in the body, but in the type 3 they are going to circulate, and in type 2 they are going to fixed in a specific region of our body, maybe in the cell surface, maybe in basement membrane, maybe in the extracellular matrix, but they are somewhere situated or they are fixed in our body. Now we are going to see several examples of the type 2 hypersensitivity first, and examples are very important here. Now we are going to see what are the mnemonic here for the memorizing. That is, my blood group is Rh positive. Look on it, all the capital letters. My blood group is Rh positive. Now look here, my blood group is Rh positive. The M stands for the myasthenia gravis. B stands for the blood transfusion reactions we done. Next one, G stands for the Graves disease. and the Goodpasture syndrome. These are the two examples of the type 2 hypersensitivity with G stands for. And next one, I stands for the immunothrombocytopenia purpura, that is ITP, immunothrombocytopenia purpura. Next one is I stands for there is a hemolytic anemia. Next one is insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. So these are the examples. Next one is R stands for rheumatic arthritis, or sorry, rheumatic fever here, not rheumatic arthritis, the rheumatic arthritis in type 4 and rheumatic fever in type 2 hypersensitive reaction. We have to memorize it. Rheumatic arthritis in type 4 and rheumatic fever in type 2 and hyperacute graft rejection in the type 2. Pernicious anemia, P stands for pernicious, and pemphigus vulgaris. Pemphigus vulgaris, pernicious anemia. These all are the examples of the type 2 hypersensitivity. All the examples are very, very important. So you have to learn by heart. Next, we are going to see what are the mechanism of the development of type 2 hypersensitivity in our body. We are going to see the antibodies which are directed against the fixed antigen. Here the antibodies are coming, and where the antigen is fixed, they are going to participate against to them. So we can see the antigen is antigen can be fixed on where the antigen is going to fixed on the cell surface. Either the antigen is fixed, I already told you the antigen is fixed in the type 2, but in 3 they are circulating in our body or the tissue fluid or in the circulation, in the blood circulation. So antigen is fixed in the type 2 hypersensitivity on the cell surface either on the extracellular matrix or the cell membrane. If the antigen is fixed in the extracellular matrix or basement membrane, in this type of patient, a special type of syndrome is developed that is called as Goodpasture syndrome. We can see about the pathogenesis of how the Goodpasture syndrome is going to develop. Yeah, the antigen is fixed to the basement membrane. The antigen is fixed to the basement membrane is leading to develops of Goodpasture syndrome. It is true. And we are going to say this is antigen here. This is combining with antibodies on the basement membrane of the cell. And they are going to activate complement activation. They are going to activate the complement system here, and in the complement system there is several components are working, and after the activation of complement system in the type 2 hypersensitivity reaction, there are two components, that is C3A and C5A. These are the two components which is going to released by the complement system, and these are the chemotactic for the neutrophils. These are the chemotactic for the neutrophils. It means they are going to attract the neutrophils, and after that the neutrophils recruitment is done. It means the neutrophils are attracted and neutrophils are come there, and these neutrophils are going to release some enzymes, and due to the release of enzymes of neutrophils, the destruction of basement membrane in the Goodpasture syndrome is done. And it is all about the Goodpasture syndrome. Next, we are going to see another one, the antigen. If the antigen is fixed on the cell membrane or either on the cell surface, what is happening in our body? If the antigen is going to fix on the cell membrane or cell surface, there are two types of action is mediated here. The first one, if the destruction of target cell is done, if the destruction of the targeted cell is done, or the dysregulation of the function of the target cell, either we are going to dysfunction the cell or either we are going to destruct the cell. So if you are going to dysfunction the cell, if you are going to dysregulatory functions are going to done in the cells, it is the two types of example in it, that is myasthenia gravis and Graves' disease. We can see here the myasthenia gravis and Graves' disease are the examples of the dysregulation of functions of target cell. How the target cell is going to dysregulated? Suppose that here is the one cell, here is the target cell is going to dysregulated in their function. Here is some receptors are present, and these receptors are going to inhibit it, or they are going to mask up through some antibodies. And in type 2, you know there is antibodies, it's IgG and IgM. So these antibodies are going to mask the receptor surface and dysregulate the functions of the cell. So in the myasthenia gravis, the receptor is going to covered by the antibodies or masked by the acetylcholine receptor, and in the Graves' disease, the receptor is going to masked by the antibodies is TSH receptor. So TSH receptor are going to dysregulated in the Graves' disease, and acetylcholine receptor is gets dysregulated in the myasthenia gravis. So you have to learn about it. What is the receptor in which, and in the modern classification, these two, myasthenia gravis and Graves' disease, are the examples of type 5 hypersensitivity, and the destruction is basically in the way of dysregulation of the functions of the target cell is done in this. But in the next, we are going to see in the another section, the destruction of target cell is done. The destruction of target cell is basically done in two ways, either opsonization or either complement fixation. As we seen previously, the complement fixation is leads to the activation of the neutrophils and then destruct the different cells. But opsonization is basically coating of the cell, the targeted cell, with the proteins, and after that they are more favorable for the complement system activation, and the opsonization is damaging the cells. So they are the two different mechanism of the destruction of the cell is opsonization and complement, and all the examples except Goodpasture syndrome and myasthenia gravis and Graves' disease all are coming in the opsonization and complement fixation. So we are not going to detail discussion about it, just simple pathogenesis. Now we are going to see third type of hypersensitivity. The third type of hypersensitivity is also called as immune complex mediated. I already told you these antibodies are here circulating. Here circulating antibodies are present, and what are the examples here? We have to learn a trick that is SHARP. I am going to write here. This is the trick here to learn the examples, and in which the first is serum sickness. S stands for serum sickness and S stands for SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus. Next one is henoxalanine purpura. Henoxalanine purpura. Next one is Arthus reaction. It is a classical example of the type 3 hypersensitivity. Next one is reactive arthritis. It is done by the Yersinia pestis bacteria. Now next one we are going to see PSGN, that is post streptococcal glomerulonephritis. Post streptococcal glomerulonephritis. Next one is PAN, that is done by the polyarthritis nodosa. So these all are the examples of the immune complex mediated type 3 hypersensitivity reaction. And we are going to see here in SLE there is two different types. We can see in SLE type 2 and type 3. If the SLE is hematological, if the SLE is with the hematological activities, then it will under the type 2 hypersensitivity, and when it will be visceral, then it will be in the type 3 hypersensitivity. Now what is the pathogenesis of the type 3 hypersensitivity? The pathogenesis is basically happened in the three phases. In the type 3 hypersensitivity, there is a three phases of pathogenesis. We can see the first one, formation of immune complexes. When the person is come in contact or the person is suffer from the type 3 hypersensitivity, in the first 5 to 7 days it leads to the formation of immune complexes. And how the immune complex is formed, you know from the childhood, the antigen and antibodies are combined and they are forming the immune complexes. Simple. This is antigen and antibodies are combining. This antigen and antibodies are combining and they are forming the immune complex. So the immune complex is formed by them, antigen and antibody. Now the one more important point here, the most pathogenic immune complex. What the immune complex is, in the initial stages they are small, and later on stages they are going to increase in their size and gets medium sized. These are the more pathogenic, or we can say they are the most pathogenic. So now what is the next stages or the next phases in the third pathogenesis of the third hypersensitive reaction, that is deposition. And third point is, we can say that leads to tissue injury. What the immune complex is formed leads to tissue damage. The first one is forming the immune complex, the second one is deposition of the immune complex, and the third that leads to the tissue injury. Where the immune complexes is going to deposited, the most common site is kidney. In the kidney these immune complexes are going to deposited. In the blood vessels these immune complexes are going to deposited. In skin these immune complexes are going to deposited. Next, how they are going to damage our tissue, or how they are going to destruct the tissue or the tissue cells. So they are activating the complement activation, and now again the complement activation leads to the activation of the components of the complement system. And here another activation is the activation of Hagman factor. These two activation, complement system and Hagman factor, these two activation is leads to the destruction of tissue here. In the type 3 hypersensitivity, the tissue destruction, how it's completed in the three stages: the first formation, second deposition, and the third tissue injury. These all stages, these all three phases is completed in 10 to 14 days. These all three stages is completed in 10 to 14 days. Now we can see type 4 hypersensitivity reaction. Type 4 hypersensitivity reaction is also called a delay type hypersensitivity reaction. This is the cell mediated hypersensitivity reaction, or the T cell mediated, or you can also say cellular cytotoxic. Now we are going to see what are the examples of the type 4 hypersensitivity. Here once again all the examples are important. And granuloma formation, or the granuloma formation is basically all the types of granuloma. What the different types of granuloma you learn in your life, these all granuloma are coming in type 4 hypersensitivity. Next, tuberculin test, lepromine test, contact dermatitis, acute and chronic graft rejection, rheumatoid arthritis and rheumatic fever in type 2, and rheumatoid arthritis in type 4. So you have to learn about all of them. Next we are going to see about multiple sclerosis, inflammatory bowel disorders or disease, psoriasis, and graft versus host diseases, graft versus host rejection disease. These all are the examples of the type 3 hypersensitivity. So in the type 3 hypersensitivity, now you know the examples of the type 3 hypersensitivity. Later on we are going to see what are the pathogenesis of the type 3 hypersensitivity here. They are mediated by the two types of cells of the T cells, CD4 and CD8 T cells. Basically the CD4 cells and CD8 cells are going to activate something. The CD4 cells are going to activate T helper 1 cells or Th1 cells. So the Th1 cells is activated by the CD4 cells, and it is mediated in the T cell mediated hypersensitivity basically. So interleukin 2, interleukin 12, and we can say interferon gamma. Here gamma is released. Interferon gamma, interleukin 2, interleukin 12, and gamma. And what are the role of these interleukins? They recruits the lymphocytes once again. It means the lymphocytes are coming in that area, and these lymphocytes, and once again there is a granuloma formation by the interferon gamma. The interferon gamma leads to the formation of granuloma, and interleukins 2 and interleukins 12 leads to the recruitments of lymphocyte cells in that specific area. Now another mediation we are going to see, that is CD4 cells. They are going to destruct the virally infected cells or the tumor cells. Either the cell is going to infected with virus, or either cell is going to infected with tumor, or the cell is transform into the tumor. So these all two types of cell, either virally infected or tumor cells, are going to destructed by the CD4 cells. How? By the phosphorus ligand mechanism. By the phosphorus ligand mechanism, and perforin gran enzymes. We can say the perforin gran enzymes mechanism either with the enzymatic activity or either with the fast mechanism. What happened in the fast mechanism? Their last stop will be the apoptosis. It means once again the death of the cell is happen. So these are the mechanism in the type 4 how the cell is going to destructed. We have to learn especially the examples and the simple mechanism how they are going to destruct the cells. That's enough for us to know. Next we are going to see a summary about the type 1, type 2, 3 and type 4 hypersensitivity. We can see here in the summary, here is the type 1, type 2, type 3 and type 4 hypersensitivity. In type 1 I already told you it is antibody mediated. Yes, type 2 is also antibody mediated. AB is your antibody and type 3 is also antibody mediated. But the type 4 is not the antibody mediated, no antibody mediated. What is the mediated by the type 4? It is the T cell mediated, yes. Next we are going to see type 1. Type 1 already told you the antibody is IgE type and they are fixed on the, these antibodies are going to fixed on mast cells, already told you, and on the basophil cells or the eosinophil cells, and there is a no free immune complex. The immunocomplex is not moving freely in the blood circulation or the tissue fluids. Next we are going to say second. In the second, type 2 hypersensitivity, the antibodies is like IgG and IgM and antigen is fixed here. The antigen is fixed and no free immune complexes. Once again, the immune complexes is not moving freely in the tissue fluid or blood circulation. But in the type 3, we can look, antigen is free and antibody is also free. But what type of antibodies? IgG and IgM, and the formation of immune complex is free. The formation of what the immune complexes form after the combination of antigen and antibody, they are moving freely in our body. So the type 3 is found in our circulation and tissue fluid. So these are the simple differences in between the types of different types of hypersensitivity reaction, and their examples are very important to learn and to know for us about it. So that's all for the pathology in which the hypersensitivity reaction. In next we are going to see different parts or the different videos in the pathology topic. So thank you, see you next time.